Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your entrepreneur, and welcome to the Daily Rideshare. This is your daily news for all of your source rideshare related, although today there will only be one story to talk about because while there are other little things to talk about, I think this is the only one that really matters right now. And that, as you can see right there, is that SoftBank is now the largest stakeholder in Uber as the deal closes. According to Fortune and many other articles, which you'll read today, a group of investors led by SoftBank Group closed a deal with Uber Technologies on Thursday, making SoftBank the largest stakeholder in the ride services firm and providing a much-needed boost to the controversy-ridden Uber. The deal includes a large number of shares from existing Uber investors and employees at a discounted valuation for the company of $48 billion, a 30% drop from Uber's most recent valuation of $68 billion. The secondary stock sales will be completed by the end of the day Thursday, as the NASDAQ Private Market and Uber spokesperson said. The investor group, which is co-led by SoftBank and Dragoneer Investment Group, I believe that's what it's, and includes Sequoia Capital, has also completed a $1.2 billion investment of fresh cash at the other high valuation, the spokesperson said. Which I don't know if that's the $1 billion that Uber was already getting from SoftBank, or if that's an additional $1 billion, but it'd be nice for Uber if it was. In all, the investors will take a stake of about 17.5% in Uber, with SoftBank keeping 15%, so I guess that was an additional. The investment triggers a number of governance changes at Uber, including the addition of new board members, which take effect immediately. Quote, "This is a great outcome for our shareholders, employees, and customers, strengthening Uber's governance as we double down on our technology investments and continue to bring our services to more people in more places around the world," says the Uber spokesman. The official closing of the deal marks the end of the months-long process fraught with infighting among board members. Power struggles have been fierce, and early and large investor Benchmark Capital sued in August to force co-founder and former CEO Travis Kalanick off the board. There's Kalanick again. Meanwhile, Uber has been struggling with controversy, the burst for... I think that's more or less all we have. Okay, here's the thing. As part of the deal, Uber will expand its board from 11 to 17 members, including 4 independent directors. We knew that was happening. Limiting some early shareholders' voting powers, and slash the control wielded Kalanick, who remains on the board. So he's still there, apparently. Benchmark has also agreed to drop its losses against Kalanick upon completion of the deal. SoftBank has added 2 representatives to Uber's board of directors: Rajiv Mazira, who is chief executive of SoftBank's Vision Fund, a $98 billion tech investment vehicle, and Marcelo Clar, Sprint Corp president and CEO, and a member of SoftBank's board of directors, according to a person familiar with the matter, who is not authorized to speak publicly because plans are still private. Uber declined to confirm any new board members. Quote, "Uber has a very bright future under its new leadership," Mazira said in a written statement, referring to new CEO Derek Kay, who helped broker the deal and benefits from the new government changes, which we'll talk about in a moment. Mazira wants Uber to focus on growing in the United States, Europe, Latin America, and Australia, not Asia. That's very interesting because, again, SoftBank is a Japanese company and they don't want to focus in Asia. So I actually kind of thought that this was one of the reasons they were investing was to get, well, anyway, we'll talk about that in a moment, which has been among the most costly and competitive regions for the ride services firm, according to the source. Such a change could help Uber achieve profitability more quickly, but could also signal a retreat from some of the biggest transportation markets. SoftBank also has stakes in China ride hailing app Didi, India's Ola, and Southeast Asia's Grab, all which compete with Uber in the region. That's going to be an interesting thing. The Financial Times first reports Mazira's comments earlier Thursday. SoftBank had no trouble drumming up interest. Kalanick sold nearly a third of his 10% stakes in the ride sharing. Okay, so anyway, what happens with this deal at this point? Like, I'm sure that's probably everyone's question. And the first question I know you guys all have, and unfortunately I don't have the answers for you. I wish I did. What about the drivers? As always, the drivers are not discussed. And in fact, if you even read that article, and I'll link to the whole thing below. I mean, I kind of went over it all, but you can go over it yourself if you want and comb it if you want. But, you know, SoftBank has admitted They are investing Uber for the technology potential. That's what they are doing. And they said that they want Uber to continue to invest in technology. And maybe that's wording just because, they know how in the United States you throw the taxi word around and all of a sudden you got the government breathing down your neck about regulations. But yeah, they're going with this whole, well, we're a technology company. See how much longer that lasts. What's really interesting, of course, though, is that SoftBank has shares in Didi and Ola and Grab. I think they don't want Uber to go into the Asian and Indian markets, basically because they already own ride-sharing services over there that are profitable. And so they want to kind of keep church and state separated. So, yeah, Uber is probably going to be retreating from some of those markets that would allow them to be focused in these parts of the world where they can become profitable. And then these parts of the world, SoftBank can focus on making those other assets that they have profitable. Now, I know that is definitely a conflict of interest in the United States, but SoftBank is a Japanese company, and Uber is a privately held company, so it's not like the government's going to step in and say you own too much. That's just how it is. They don't have a whole lot of jurisdiction on that one. If Uber were to ever go public, the fact that SoftBank owns a huge chunk of all of these competing services might prove to be a conflict of interest, but we'll have to wait and see when we get there. Right now, honestly, the biggest thing that Uber's getting out of this, in my opinion, is that they get rid of Travis Kalanick. And I've kind of speculated this is what they've been wanting to do the entire time. The only reason they've been so bullish on this, because it doesn't really benefit them in a whole lot of ways. It gets them $1 billion in cash, but that gives them like 2.5 months of operating power. It gives them a couple new board members, which they don't really need, honestly. It lowers their valuation from $70 billion to $48 billion, which sure as heck doesn't help. But it gets rid of Travis Kalanick. It cuts his superpower, and it pretty much ensures that he can never, ever be the CEO again. Not unless they asked him to personally, which doesn't seem very likely, to be honest. So, I guess we're going to have to see whether or not this deal is good for them in the long run. I don't know yet, to be perfectly frank. I mean, so far, we don't know how it's going to affect the drivers. We just don't. I'm hoping someone at SoftBank realizes what's going on with the drivers and pushes Uber to fix it. But who knows? We just don't know. And Uber's biggest concern this whole time was getting rid of Kalanick, who was continuing to sabotage the company, who was continuing to undermine the new CEO. Now they can get rid of him. So that's pretty much what this was always been about. And now they got rid of him. I mean, they had to lower the value of their company by 25%, more or less. And Kalanick gets to cash out with $1.4 billion. I guess that's America sometimes. That just... Yeah. So, anyway, we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there because I think this episode of the Daily Rideshare, considering we're talking about one topic, has gone on long enough. I'll see about uploading something tomorrow for e-commerce Saturday, although news on the e-commerce front has been a little low. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you Monday with a new episode of the Daily Rideshare, and I might live stream Sunday. Who knows? We'll have to see. In the meantime, what do you folks think about this deal? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? I would love to know. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for a little $1 a month. And, as always, flame responsibly, and I will see you on the Daily Rideshare.